Hello and welcome back to Cardboard Decoy Plays Factorio. As I had said, I cleared out a pretty decent area. We finished doing turret damage upgrade, and we're working on advanced material processing, which will allow us to use steel furnace. Yes. Okay, so once we get that going, all things will be very happy and well. But for right now, what we need to do is kind of start planning how we're going to create our next little area here, which is going to be consisting of factories for making copper wire. Now, this is going to seem really expansive, and you're not wrong. However, there is a method to my madness, and that is primarily centered around the idea that in the future we will be absolutely devouring incredible amounts of copper. You will see if all goes well. Let's go ahead and we're going to get some placeholders going here. So we're going to need a piece of track here that's going to be our split. It's going to come down the middle, roughly. I mean, this is very rough. And then, yeah, so we can actually, this we can build as close as we like. So at the very least, we're going to need that and make sure that it's on the straight path before we go here. Not to be overly judgmental about anybody's life choices there. That could have come out really wrong if taken out of context. So let's go ahead and do that and that and like that. We are basically measuring at this point. So that's going to be enough for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we will eventually want 8. We'll go ahead and put the track down in anticipation of that. Although all we're building now is going to be 4. However, never hurts to be prepared. This is going to go out like that. And actually, we're going to meet in the center here of all of our production. And we're going to go like that. And that's going to come down. And that's going to be our output eventually. So let's go ahead and set that up like that over here on this side too. Once again, this is just zoning off everything and kind of claiming territory for our copper wire production. So now we will redo all of what we just did there, except on this side. So let me think. Could we can make a single line there and then actually have the wide ends meet up. You know what? No, there's no point in making that overly complicated. We'll just do 2 separate facilities like this. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I mean, this should already make enough sense enough as it is. I'm being thorough at this point, doing due diligence for the design of my factory. So we can do 5 and or 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, I like making about 100 at a time. That lasts me the longest for the most part, at least until we start really automating it. And that will be a happy time whenever it happens, but it's not here just yet. So once again, we're just doing placeholder track to claim this territory. We'll probably do a separate split there whenever the time comes, or not. I'm not sure yet. Actually, this supply line, by the time that becomes really important, is probably going to be entirely different whenever we start doing train stations. And train stations are a lot of fun, you'll see. And let's go ahead and we'll take you, pick you up, put you over here, and then just match the... there we go. Where's the coordinates? That's how we want to do that. That's going to match. And we'll come over here towards the middle. Pull these guys up. And yes. All we're good. And that's all we're actually building. And this is all going to be copper wire production. And done. Alright, so now we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 arms. That's going to be all the ones we can actually make. So we'll wait for those to produce. There are little patches of copper and coal around here, but we're just going to build over them and pretend we didn't see that. Let's see, where are we here? We're going to do like up here. That's right. Okay. Slightly more efficient use of our space and time. And we'll do that. And that. So we've got input, we've got output. All we need to do is start feeding in copper. And then we will take this. Oh, you know what? I messed up. I was going to do something very specific here. Let's go ahead and shift everything over 1. There we go. No, not that high. Hold on. There we go. We're going to do that. So whenever you're producing, once again, whenever you're producing the electronic circuits, you do need 1 iron plate. And I forgot to account for a path to put that up there. So we're just going to move everything over 1 and eliminate the excess and have it set up so that we will be able to run a line in between these two. And then we'll further split that and figure out how that's going to work here in a second once we get all of this established. So first of all, let's go ahead and build a couple splitters. We're going to need more iron plates, naturally. And 1, 2. Okay, cool. That's all we're going to need for now. And then, do we have any underground track? We do not, so we'll do that. Once again, I filled up all of my wood. That's how much wood I cleared out roughly at about 5 logs a tree. So there you go. I did it for you guys, so you didn't have to sit there and watch me attempt to think of things to talk about that whole time. So I'm just thinking about you. Let's go like so. We actually need to switch the route of that track. There's that. We'll go ahead and make sure we power that all up. And then this line will come down here in the middle. That's a pretty safe place to put it for now. And then we'll probably end up tearing down that line later by accident and forgetting that it is running power to actual parts of our factory and not just temporary ones. So, okay. Well, and then I fixed it while I was saying that, so that's pretty much an explanation of why I did all of that. And there goes the sound that indicates my email. Sorry about that. And yes, it's from Metal Gear Solid, so in case you were wondering, I'm sure you are now super satisfied with the fact that you were right about that. Or if you didn't know what it was, now you know, and it's kind of cool too. So, what was I doing? We are on splitters. We are going to make sure we have a tunnel there. That'll help us visualize our next move here. And then we will set up track to go up this way. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Alright. And this will go up like this. And over. This will go over a little bit more than likely. And this will go up 1 and over. And now we can start setting up for how we want to establish our circuit board manufacturing, electronic circuits, that kind of a deal. Basically the same setup. So from my experience with the amount of copper wire that it consumes and your ability to produce it over a certain amount of track, the best way to do this is to have 2 totally different copper producing facilities, and if you can, 2 totally separate, inline, fully producing lines of copper plates coming into your copper wire production. So imagine all of this running at full tilt with full upgrades and still barely being able to catch up. So after a point, the limiters are only the speed of the fast inserters. And fast inserters are, as the namesake suggests, pretty fast. So that's terrifying. All right, this is backed up, so we're just going to throw a science facility in here really quick while I kind of go over the theory of how I'm going to start building my factory. Right now, our pollution is... Oh, hey, there we go. We got advanced materials processing. That's super handy. Let's go ahead and... I don't want to invest that much in that yet. We do want to do military too. Basic grenades. You know what? I've never used a grenade. I'm not exactly sure how well they do. They might be really good for taking out bases. So I'm going to go ahead and do military too. And we're going to hopefully start doing some piercing rounds. Normal rounds are going to be for our turrets. Piercing rounds are going to be for us because they're actually really handy and useful. But before we get too distracted, we are almost done with our science facility. And I do not have an inserter for it. So I'm actually going to go grab the materials for that because it's kind of pointless until we have some way of actually putting in the science kits here. So let's do that. And then we'll come down here, place this guy right here, and 1 inserter. There we go. Cool. We have another means of doing research, and hopefully this will actually start doing research faster than we can produce. Not necessarily out of any sort of desire to strain myself or overextend the resources of my base, but just to maximize efficiency. Even if this goes low, it'll take a while and it'll still be able to produce that so that all 4 buildings are researching at the same time. In theory, if it's backed up now, the chances are it might not happen all the time. We might go from a solid 4 to like a 3.5, but that's better than just a 3. So by that I mean you'll have 3 bases researching and 1 half the time of that. So still good overall. So let's see, if we bring these guys over here, we're going to want to split him and then be able to curl him around. So we're going to place hold the idea of a splitter right here, That'll have to curl around back over that way. Oh, okay. Now we got military 2. We might go test out some grenades in a little bit, but let's go ahead and continue preparing ourselves for the inevitable combat we will be reaching. And also, we need to build more tracks. So we'll build another 100 transporter belts. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, cool. We're good. That'll build us enough track to carry us over. This will be able to go over here and combine into 2 lines. So really, we're just kind of doing a height map of how high we want everything there. We'll also get enough resources to build 4 assembly machines. So we'll just wait for that. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay. Man, I cannot wait for logistics robots. And I say that because with logistics robots, you don't have to be, or I don't know if guilt is the correct word for what it is I'm trying to describe here, but you don't have to feel as pressed for space and managing belts and everything else like that for a lot of goofy things. So you can literally just make automations for everything, including little factories. So you could just be like, hey, I need a factory. Go grab a factory out of the factory bin. No big deal. And whenever you start doing that, like, I don't want to say the game necessarily becomes easy, but it definitely becomes less of a pain to manage your time and resources in a very effective manner. And it is, by that point in the game, rather relieving, to say the least. Okay, so there we go. This is going to be our input of iron and copper. So that will go all the way down here, like that. Yep, that's correct. And then we'll come over here, and let me go ahead and build this guy here. Basically the same way we constructed our copper wire bases. Come over here, got that, and then we'll establish this line over here, and we'll just do like that, so that we have a distance over here that's super accurate. Okay, cool. And there we go. That's one circuitry unit. Well, I should probably leave that there so I don't lose my place in my theory. Let's see. Do we want to have them return down the middle? I mean, I think long term what we'll end up doing is continuing circuit production over this way. But that's neither here nor there just yet. So all of our oil is scattered about a lot. So whenever we get to oil processing, we'll have to coordinate a singular location for doing our initial processing. Yeah, resume M. That's what I wanted. Okay, cool. So, and we go back 1. That gives us space to put up track here. Whoa. There we go. And like that. And we will do track up like this, which will be roughly in this zone here. Like that. That'll be our input. And then let me go ahead and establish this here so that we can measure again. Man, I am shockingly tired. It's not even that late. It's only like 11, and I'm a guy who generally stays up pretty late. And the fact that I'm like as tired as I am right now is like almost concerning. Maybe it's because I've had a couple beers and the beers are actually making me a little more acceleratedly sleepy. But I didn't really start in on them until right before I started recording the first video in my session, which was not that long ago. So yeah, I don't know. That's maybe TMI as far as most people are concerned. So my apologies. Let's go ahead and yeah, we're gonna cut down some trees here. Let's go like that. So yes, we've established what will eventually be our electronic circuit production megaplex here. Megaplex? Is that the word I want to use for that? I don't know. Let's stick with it for now. Let's go. We need more inserters. We're going to need enough for 8. And yep, okay, we're out of copper this time. And there we go. Alright, so these guys are going to become electronic circuit producers. And we also have an excess of wood that we can start dumping here. So, oh well, you know what? I just finished making the inserters. I might as well go ahead and get this going. So, we want to input here, 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 and here. And there we go. It's kind of weird because, like, I definitely fall victim to this fairly frequently, and I'm sure if you play Factorio for a while, you will too. It's not that the interface is bad, but, like, there's something about that being flat and that having an arrow that makes you think that's where you want to get stuff from. That arrow is indicating your target, and I don't know. It's one of those little gripes. It's not even a gripe really. It's a sub gripe. It's a I have a problem with this and I want to complain about it so I don't have to blame myself for being a freaking idiot, basically. So, take it with a grain of salt, but that is one of those things where I'm just sort of like, wait, that want it to be different. I don't know what it could be. Maybe if this was an arrow too, so it indicates more of a flow and less of a sort of vague concept or like a pause symbol here. It's like, rewind, pause, fast forward, or play, and I don't know, there's something about that that kind of throws me off. So, and apparently the company that made this is Czechoslovakian. So, lost in translation is not the correct word, but there are symbolically cultural differences sometimes that tend to pop up in a lot of games that are made by people outside of your country of preference that may cause some confusion. I didn't want to, like, seem Americo-centric there. I know that tends to be the tendency, especially on the internet, because Americans are incapable of remembering that they are not the only country sometimes. But I try really hard to not fall into that trap, and oftentimes fail pretty miserably, to be honest. I do try to learn another language that isn't Spanish in my own time, and you know, and for the curious, it is Japanese, and it's not like I know anything outside of Watashi wa Jaundice, which is actually my real name, and it sounds like I just said I am jaundice, but it's John Desu. Let's see. Oh, we just did bullet damage. We can do bullet damage too. That's really expensive. We can do bullet shooting speed. That's probably a little more short-term viable, and it's only red too, so that's kind of a nice little easing up on our resources there. So now that we have circuit boards being made, we can start thinking about actually scaling up our production of these down here, and that's going to primarily be performed by rerouting so that we have gears somewhere else, and gears are probably going to be best suited down here. How are we done time? We got about 3 minutes. Cool. So yeah, we do apparently have a feed bias. That's sort of okay. It's not ideal. This is kind of the biggest pain in the ass part of the game at this point, where it's like actually managing keeping these even is a bit of a chore sometimes. And there's enough of a gap there that it should be allowing some from the other side to go, and it's not. And there's a reason for that, and that's because you have to do tricks at this point. And yeah, that's basically I need to get a faster speed belt that's going to just move all of this stuff. Or actually, you know what? These just need to be producing faster, so we don't have to worry about that. So speedy arms are going to be a must. Let's actually go ahead and do that, because it looks like, yeah, the only thing holding back this production right now is the speed of these arms. So if we do that, there we go. That's a fast arm versus a slow arm. It does 3 or 4 things in the same amount of time. And so as you can see, it's still having a hard time keeping up. So this only gets worse, which is why we built so many of these. And so many of these, it's going to keep this flow going, hopefully. So what do we need for more of these? We need iron and copper. So we'll grab up some of that really quick. And we will this will be our first fast inserter factory, or fast inserter based factory. Oh, I just ended up turning that unnecessarily. So there we go. That's gonna maximize our output there. And yeah, still struggling with speed, but at least we don't have to feel guilty about somehow being responsible for it through neglect. So is now going fast enough? Oh no, it's because this has no way to output now, so that's fine. That's totally within bounds here. Let's go ahead and we are going to route these guys over here, and that will keep production going and also allow for doing some storage, basically. So let's do like that. We're going to curve around what will eventually be there, and then we're going to bring these guys back down to our main factory lines, and we might just add it onto sort of our line scheme here. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what else I need copper for, because I know we need copper plates for batteries, but after that I think it's one of those sort of you grab randomly as you need it kind of deals. 99% of your copper is going to go into these electronic circuits. So, not like the biggest priority in the world to have like this backlog of copper plates sitting around. But, you know, it is nice to have whenever you need it because it is used for some really random stuff. And also, piercing rounds is going to use it, and it might be a little bit easier to pick that up manually than it is to try and route that somewhere. So we are actually, it appears we are caught up on ammo. So we've got another 5 stacks of ammo, which we are going to extend to 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh yeah, it's 10 per row every time. We'll do that, and then that will allow us to start building advanced walls of guns later on whenever we decide to start assaulting things. Got 111 steel, which is pretty good. We actually, oh yeah, let's go ahead and start building some furnaces. How about that? Okay, we need to get some bricks. Bricks are being stored up here currently. So, actually, walls are being made up here. Bricks are not being made at all. Okay. Well, this is a little unfortunate and kind of embarrassing, to be honest. Let's go ahead and we will need bricks for being able to make these furnaces. So let's go ahead and do things like, what am I doing? Just grab it like that. There we go. We get one more stone furnace. We have an inserter. We'll do like this. And pick that up, put it in a box, and we will make a box. We have enough for several hundred boxes, or a few hundred, or whatever, depending on how you ascribe to the use of those words. And there we go. We are now producing bricks. I will assign this to actually make walls instead of leaving it sitting there forever because I'm kind of tired. Oh, there we go. Reset, and then do, where are you? Hold on. Thinking. Military. There we go. Wall. Okay. Cool. So that should take care of that more or less. And yeah, that will actually start to produce. And we will do steel furnaces next time. As of right now, we're already a couple minutes over. I don't mind going over too much on these videos because it does take quite a bit of time to do reasonable progress. For the most part, it's easy to progress. Hard to maintain a sense of progression, I think is the best way to put it in this case. That is to say, whenever you are kind of caught in the moment, like this is more or less a really slow progress game, but there's so many little minute details that whenever you're actually playing the game, it feels a lot faster than it actually is. And having watched as many videos as I have, including my own, and I mean, yeah, no, I realize this sounds pretty narcissistic, but like I sat down and was reviewing the videos I had done the other day, and this is the first time I've actually watched through all of my videos, which I mean, yeah, isn't. I mean, I'll go ahead and be a proponent and play devil's advocate for the idea that, you know, the fact that I actually like these videos enough, it means that I find them watchable, which is really the first step to like good quality control in your entertainment output, more or less. So that's how I'm going to defend my incredible narcissism, and so deal with it, I guess. Either way. Oh man, oh man. Yeah, we're gonna have to up that production sooner rather than later, I think. We got bullet shooting speed. We are going to need more and more things to kill with. That is the goal here. Let's go ahead and let's do that while we're here. Do we need anything else in particular? No, you know what? While we're here, we're going to do logistics too, and then we can kind of start optimizing some of our belts as well. Especially since we're going to be able to build them here pretty soon, or we're going to set up the production means to do so. My goodness, look at that. I almost don't want to tear this down because this just works so well for right now, for what we need. Actually, you know what? I probably won't. How about we not complicate things and just continue to build science centers and have that function off of that for now, because it just works. And whenever something works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, basically. So if we need to expand on that, we'll do that later, but we'll start building cogs and everything down here and then repurpose this to odds and ends whenever we do finally take it down. And otherwise, yeah, no big deal. I'll get these science centers built up, and so you don't have to sit there and watch what you've already seen 20 or 30 times now. Well, maybe not that many, but quite a few. And this video is going on way too long. We are now 7 minutes over. And, well, no, just 4. Okay, 4 minutes over. Still, this video is getting pretty long, and my computer's going to start complaining if I don't stop to process this. So, given that, I will see you next time. Have fun.